Back to another Geeky Gecko Creations live. Let me get the camera set up here. Definitely looks like we're not getting super good quality on the color, but at least we are here. I think color is something that's always super hard to get on camera. Pancakey. Let's see, can I zoom this out more? Ooh, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby, we could zoom out even more. Okay, give me a second, guys. Just kind of fixing the camera angle, and then I will monitor the chat. Pancake, Jerry, good to have you guys here. This will be sort of a show and tell type live stream, so I will just be pulling out geckos that are on our website, answering questions. Caesar, what's going on, man? How goes it? I think you were in the Philippines with Greg recently, right? If I'm remembering correctly. That looked awesome. I was looking at photos and stuff. It's still my dream one day to go to the Philippines again and maybe even possibly work with some reptile breeders in the Philippines. It is a country that is hard for us to import and export from America, but things change. Maybe that will become easier. All right, I'm trying to look for the right zoomature here. Looks like it might be a little bit blurry. Let me see if there's like an actual reset. There we go. That's probably going to be the best resolution. As I scroll in and out, it's going to be a worser resolution. Let me move this closer and let me drop this down. Let me take a look at the chat. Yeah, that's so cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, man. Good to hear from you. Good to see you here. We just uploaded a bunch of 26 new geckos to the website. So I just want to show some of those geckos off, as well as just answer questions people might have and stuff like that. It's always nice to get on here, do a live stream, especially with all the chaoticness that's going on in the world right now. I was like, yo, we just need some positive, normal type content that people can just feel good about. So who doesn't feel good about leopard geckos, right? My favorite species to work with. So we have one S tier leopard gecko available on the website, which is this one. It's it's $50 more expensive than the other one, but the other one shipped out today. But they're both fantastic geckos. They're both great geckos. Let me see if I can make this a little bit taller here. And can I make this taller? A little bit. Emma, hello. Antonio, hello. There we go. Now we're really tall here. I got to be careful that I don't knock the tripod over because it is like... It is, you know how the tripod's supposed to like stretch out wide all the way? It's like skinny right now just so it's, you know, up tall. Okay, so that's a good question. How we actually have a video on our tier system, but let me grab a couple options for you. So here is an S tier gecko, and an S tier gecko is something that has 95% or more total shading. So you can see that you can still see a little line down the stripe of down the back of the animal. A perfect S tier, which is extremely rare, will have no pattern whatsoever. But perfect S tiers only come around once in a while. Other than that, you're going to get stuff like this, where you can see like little bits of pattern popping through, like that center line, but still more than 95% of this gecko is black. Now, let me show you like a lower tier. Here's a great example. Let me pull this one out. This one is also on our website. And I believe I labeled this one a B tier. This one's ID is 1484. So here's 1484. And you can see, still has a lot of darkness, a lot of blackness, you know, especially compared to a normal leopard gecko. But This is what I call a B tier. So S tier is 95% or greater shading. And then A tier is going to be like 75%. I forget what was the percentage I assigned to A tier. I think it was like 80 or 85 to 95. And then C tier would be like 50. Oh no, I think I did it in 25s. So 95 to 100 is S tier. 75 to 95 is A tier. 50 to 75 is C tier, and then 0 to 50 is D tier, which means that it's almost showing no blackness whatsoever. Now, there is a little bit of nuance between the grading of the tiers, but in general, those are some good guidelines to sort of get you started. And then if you haven't seen that video yet, you could look it up on YouTube. Just type in Geeky Gecko Creations Black Knight grading system, and you can watch like a deeper explanation about it there. All right, come on down. And then if you do want to understand the color of the animal a little bit more, take a look at our website, geekygeckocreations.com, and you could see like professional level photographs of these geckos. Because like this one, you'll see this doesn't look very orange on screen right now, but when you look at its photos, which is representative of how it looks in person, you'll see that it's actually very colorful. Same with this gecko right here, very colorful. Now, the cool thing about Black Knights is it doesn't matter whether the camera is picking up its bright coloration or not, because it doesn't have any bright coloration. So that's the cool thing about videoing Black Knights, is that you never have to worry about the camera picking up the quality of the gecko's color. But when you're dealing with like the color green, the color orange, sometimes even the color yellow, but usually not yellow. But when you're dealing with any colors like orange and green specifically, those are almost never going to get picked up on camera. Now, actually, let me grab my tablet real quick, because then I'll be able to see your guys' comments a lot easier. So give me 2 seconds. This is the exact reason I got this tablet. Well, actually, I got this tablet to do live streams on Palm Street. But also, if you guys want to see any leopard gecko that's currently on our website right now, just let me know, and you can drop the number in the live chat, and I will get that gecko out live. The mold morph. Yeah, the mold morph was what I think is a chimera. Chimera is non-replicatable, but if it is replicatable, that would be super cool. But I don't think it's going to be replicatable. However, she's going good. I just dropped a video recently on the mold morph. If you guys saw that video, an update on the mold morph. This little one's drinking right here, so cute. So if you did not see that video on an update on the mold morph, I would encourage you to watch it. It shows the developmental coloration of the gecko, and it's gotten so much more colorful. In addition to the white pattern, it also has so much orange pattern. It's really, really cool. So let me log in here. YouTube live. Also, I will probably be doing more lives through YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Palm Street. So feel free to follow us on all those platforms, because thanks to Danielle, who's been keeping us caught up on cleaning geckos, I will have more time now to do more live streams and also videos. I have some pretty cool videos that I'm planning on making, like really cool leopard gecko videos that I'm planning on making. So can you show the red dragon female you have on your website? What ID number is that? Her color's not going to show so good on this camera, so you kind of have to rely upon what it looks like on your phone. Even on my computer, when I look at her on my computer, it's not as colorful as when I look at her on my phone. So I would suggest looking at her on the phone, but I can certainly pull her out. She's just not going to be as colorful as in real life, because even this girl right here, this girl is like 5 times more colorful than what the camera is showing right now. All right, cool. Now I can keep an eye on the questions. They're not fighting when put together. No, because these are both females, and because they're relatively the same size, and because most of our geckos are pretty well mannered and pretty temperable towards each other. With females, you have a 95+% chance that they're not going to fight. With males, you never want to put. I would never put 2 males together like this. And I would never put a male and a female together like this, because the male would try to breed with the female. 1656. Yeah, and if you don't know, red dragon is a term that describes our most orangey red geckos. So this one has some deep orangey red tones to her. And this camera is not going to pick it up, but if you look at the photo on our website, geekygeckocreations.com, what did you say her number was? 1656. You can see some nice photos there. And even then, the thing that I hate about tangerine colors is, even if you look at it, like I said, from a laptop or from a desktop, it might be less colorful than if you look at it from like a phone, just because of the different processing systems that your screen has. But she is absolutely gorgeous, like extremely gorgeous. You receive her in the mail, you're definitely going to be happy. Actually, I think I priced her because I didn't even want to sell her, but I was like, see, that's not aggressive behavior, but just to potentially get in the way of something that, might turn into that. All 3 of these guys are females, so I'm not worried about it, but I like to be extra precautious, especially while I'm on a live, right? Because you can't take back anything that happens on a live. So could we also see 1654? I love how spotted she looks. Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look. 1654. Let's put her, I want to keep her out. Let me mark this down. So 1656. And so we have also, what helps too, I think, is if you have some water like this sprayed on here, they're going to be licking it up. Their temperature is going to be a little bit cooler. Even if the water wasn't there, I don't expect problems. What's going on, Voodoo? What's going on, Astro? Yeah, I knew you were going to ask for Magma. Give me a second. We'll see if we can get Magma on there. After 1654, Magma. Oh, yeah, this is why you liked 1654, because she's a super snow. Here's 1654. Super snow, fasciolata super snow. Thanks so much, Voodles. Appreciate it. Look at that contrast shot with all these guys. I mean, unfortunately, the tangerines are not going to be showing very much color, just because, like I said, the phone is going to wash it out. But you don't have to worry about that with black and whites. So you can see, that's the thing that I love about filming Black Knights, is you don't have to worry about their color getting washed out. Or super snows. Let's see if you could see the pinkish purple coloration on her. Not really, but in the photos it should show. Now let me take a preview of where Magma might be. Here we go, Alex. You finally get to see Magma, the original granddaddy of the red dragons in this particular line. Again, Magma's colors are not going to show very well. Plus, he's an old man and his colors are very faded. But in future videos, you will certainly see the color of all of his offspring. Like I said, you could take a look on our website, geekygeckocreations.com, and you can see the photographs of these guys and how nice they are. And sometimes the photos are going to not look as good on a desktop, so I would suggest looking at them on your phone and maybe checking a couple different computer sources just to make sure that you're getting the best visual possible. But all of our pricing is really good, and if I price it higher, it is 110% worth that price or more, because our slogan is quality geckos for quality price. So like a gecko like this that I price at like 300 or 350, it's definitely, when you receive it in the mail, it's definitely going to be like of the quality or better for that price point for sure. So, but yeah, here is Magma, who is the original Mandarin father that we bred to like all of our Inferno girls, and he's what created the Fire Project. He's what created the Red Dragon Project because his genetics are just so good. Now, if you know anything about tangerines, their color will fade over time. So even though he is more colorful than what you're seeing on camera right now, he's still not nearly as colorful as he was when I first got him, and not nearly as colorful as he was when he was first 6 months old. 6 months old is like the time that geckos look their best. After that, tangerines will start to fade a little bit as time goes on. Their color and patterns may start to blend into each other a little bit. But that's the cool thing I like about snows and black knights is they don't fade. They look the same all throughout life. And then same with white and yellow. White and yellow also looks the same throughout life. So let me put Magma back now that we finally got to see him. He's so sweet, just like Lieutenant Pancake. Lieutenant Pancake definitely gets his mannerisms from this boy right here. And I'm going to put him back and then probably put one of these geckos away and then start looking at questions I missed. By the way, if you do want to see any leopard gecko from our website, geekygeckocreations.com, feel free to goodness, jumpy one. I'm going to put this one back and leave that one there. Feel free to let me know. This one is 1490. This one's 1493. And if you look at her on the website, pretty nice color, not the most orange, but very nice greens, very nice oranges, very nice jungle pattern going on with this one. All right, 1493 is back in her cubby. And this one is 1654. So we'll keep these three out for now. So we'll keep these three out, and then if there is an ID that you want to see, let me know. My females will rotate between hanging out and being completely independent. That's a good observation, and I would agree with that. Thank you, Voodles. Thank you, JOO with the face. The wide eyeballs face. Yeah, you really want to take him on, huh, Alex? Yeah, you're welcome, James. We do have a lot of Tremper albinos on the website right now. Yeah, super snows are pretty cool. The really cool thing about this super snow is that she is yeah, she is 25% fasciolatus. So if you were to breed her to another Max Snow, or if you were to breed her to a pure fasciolatus, you're going to get like, you're going to stand a higher chance of having more lavender and white babies because of the fasciolatus DNA. Now, ideally, I like to see 50% fasciolatus DNA inside of a Max Snow. In this case, a Super Snow. This girl has 25%, but that's certainly better than 0%. That's 25% better than 0. So, can we see the 50% Black Knight, 50% Tang? Yeah, what ID is that, J.O.? All these namings are so over words. To me, being new to Leos, I have one color name I've come up with. The raw chicken, as mine has few such spots. Yeah, if you look at like blizzards and stuff, blizzards are often called like raw chickens because they have that raw chicken look to them, you know? There we go. Get that one in film a little bit there. So Jo, let me know which one that 50% Black Knight one is. I'm going to grab some water real quick. And tonight, 1634. Sure. Oh, she's in shed. 1630. Whoa. Jumpy girl. So, what is your handleability rating, young lady? She's a 5, which is typical of a 5. She's a little jumpy. The only reason she didn't get a 4, actually, I probably should put her at a 4, but still, she's in shed right now. So this is characteristic of a 4 because she's like running and jumping versus just fast walking and jumping. So fast walk and jump is a 5. Run and jump is a 4. Even then, you could see that if you just work with them like this, which we have videos on handling and stuff, if you just work with them, you can easily calm them down, get them used to your handling, get them used to your touch, and with repetition, you can make them into 6s, 7s, 8s, or even 9s. But yeah, she's in shed. You can see she's all grayed out right now. So on top of the camera not picking up her colors, she's also in shed, but this is her. And let's see, did I miss? Is it late? Is it too late in the season to be breeding geckos? Great question. So because of how many leopard geckos we have, I didn't even breed geckos until about May. Now, normally you want to breed leopard geckos in January because most leopard geckos are ovulating between January and April where they start ovulating. But of course, you get your geckos that start ovulating in the middle of summer. You get your geckos that ovulate at the beginning of fall. You get your geckos that ovulate in the wintertime. A lot of our Black Knights actually breed in the wintertime. So it's not about is it too late in the season. What the real question you should be asking yourself is my girl ovulating? So what I tell people is all you need to do, leopard gecko breeding is so simple. All you need to do is every single week, that you clean your leopard geckos, or however often that is that you clean your leopard geckos, check the females for ovulations. And as soon as a girl is ovulating, you breed her. And then document when that particular girl started ovulating, because that girl is probably going to ovulate around the same time every single year, give or take 1 to 2 months. Frank's prices are pretty great. Would trust or work with him anytime. I'm even working on a video where Pancake called Frank out for pricing him much lower than a Switch 2. He is angry. By the way, Astronomical Pie Studios is a customer, a friend, a companion here with Geeky Gecko Creations on the channel. If you've watched our leopard gecko ad where we talk about selling leopard geckos, he created that ad for us, and so we're very thankful for that. We still plan to have an interview with him one day as things continue to settle down around here, and take a look at his creative process that he goes through. But yeah, very thankful to have him around here, and it's always fun to see his funny leopard gecko and animal content that he creates. So feel free to check him out, Astronomical Pie Studios. I think you will especially if you're like kind of geeky, nerdy, like science fiction type like I am, you know, you will certainly enjoy his content for sure. There's no one else out there making that type of funny comedic stuff with leopard geckos or even reptiles, really. So great job, Alex. All right, so let me know if there's any other geckos that you guys would like to see while we're on this live. Tonight's live will be a little bit shorter. I'll probably end it in the next 10 minutes or so because I do have a school event early tomorrow morning that I need to get up for, get all the animals packed up, go to the school, and we're going to be showing reptiles to like 100+ kids for 2 hours. So I already know it's going to take a lot of energy out of me getting that prepped and then running the event. But it's always a fun time. But I do need to get to bed a little earlier tonight in preparation for that. So tonight's live stream will probably stay on for another 10-15 minutes at the most. And then, like I said, if you don't follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Palm Street, those are other places that we will be doing some live streams more and more over the next couple weeks, now that we are like caught up with cleaning and stuff. I'm on the website, but I don't see an ID number. It's $75, D tier on page 3. All right, let's check it out. Going to my website. It's on page 3. It's a D tier. So it must be a Black Knight. Oh, I think you're talking about this one, because this one's nice. 1623. So just so you know, if you're on the website, the ID number is right here. So when you click on the gecko, you can scroll down a little bit and the ID number will be right there in the description. So let me know if this is the one that you are talking about. Oh, no, that one's not $75 though. So that's probably not the one you're talking about. But let me know if you can see the ID number now that I kind of showed you where to find it. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay. It's this girl. She is ID 1625. This girl's gonna make a getaway over here. Yeah, so this girl's just not very black, but she is 50% black knight. So if you were to breed her to a 100% black knight, or even a 75% black knight, that's like really dark, the blacker the better, you will get some pitch black babies and some really dark babies. So this is that girl that you're talking about, which is 1625. She does have a handle ability rating of a 4, which I can confirm because she was just jumping at my hand a second ago. But usually when you give them a wide open space like this, where you're opening your hand like this, it's good desensitization training for them to realize that your hand is not harmful, and then they will just get used to you more over time. But it does take practice sessions, a few weeks or a few months, to really start desensitizing the worst cases, like 2s, 3s, 4s, you know, those kinds of things. But most leopard geckos will calm down dramatically, even on their own, within the first year or so. All right, let's see. Questions. Get your questions in now. We'll probably stay on another 5 minutes or so. 1489 for sure. Yeah, we have a lot of super giant stuff. 1489. Oh yeah, this guy's a nice boy. He's just he's he's gonna be more colorful than what you see on camera right here, because the camera does wash out their color. So he'll look more like what you see his photo based on the website, especially if you're looking on an iPhone or an Android. So he's got a little bit of color to him. He's got those red stripes right there, kind of going around in a circle. But yeah, he's a nice boy. He comes from supergiant to supergiant pairing lineage, so he definitely has the capabilities and or possibilities of growing pretty large. Of course, if you know anything about supergiant, oh, here's one thing. I used to write a description of every single morph. I'm trying to show the super snow here. I used to write a description of every single morph in the description of the gecko for sale on our website. If you noticed that I haven't been doing that recently, it's just because I've been really limited on time when it comes to updating the website, and so it takes a lot longer to add a description of each morph in there. But we will go back to doing that as time allows. But in the supergiant definition, you will see that we mentioned that supergiant is a very argued upon genetic trait in the leopard gecko hobby. And if you purchase a supergiant, there's no guarantee that it's actually going to be much larger than a regular leopard gecko, but there is a guarantee that it comes from supergiant lineage, official supergiant lineage, meaning it definitely has the chance to be very large based on that lineage. So yeah, that is 1489. Don't jump on the Black Knight. You see, this one right here is kind of jumpy. She's a jumpy girl, but I want to keep her around because she's different. She's got some nice coloration to her. Yeah, so this S tier is no hets. Now, I never like to guarantee no hets for somebody, because there's always a chance that, you know, Eclipse or Tremper Albino might be floating around out there in things, but I have bred this lineage a million times. And I've never got, not a million, I'm exaggerating, hundreds of times. Hundreds of babies have I produced of this lineage. And I've never produced a Tremper albino. I've never produced an eclipse. I've never produced anything recessive. So this is a fantastic steal. Most people selling S tier leopard gecko, black knights right now are $800 plus. So, and one thing that I like to point out is when I take the photo of the gecko, I get up close to the gecko. Because what you'll notice about a lot of photos of black knights is they are taken from far away and they're not taken from up close. And what that does is it plays a trick on your eyes where the further away you go, the blacker the gecko looks. So I like to take photos, and you'll see on my website, we will always take photos close to the black knight to show you, because I don't want any customers disappointed whatsoever. So I always like customers to even be, for the gecko to even look worse in the photos than it does in person. I would always rather a customer is happily surprised than angrily surprised. And that's just the way that I conduct my photos and business. Customer service is very important to me. It's one of the things that, to me, goes hand in hand with the health of the geckos, and the quality of the geckos. Like the quality of the color, the accuracy of the genetics and bloodlines, as well as the quality of the customer service. All extremely important to me, equally important to me. So yeah, if you're going to get a leopard gecko, we probably have like 60, 70 available, 80 on the website right now. We just added 26 geckos. We just lowered the price on a couple geckos. So definitely check it out. Something that not a lot of people know that you can do, because we are behind on we're behind on taking away geckos that are sold. You see how this gecko says sold? I have to manually go in there and remove those geckos that are sold. So what you can do is you can go to all leopard geckos, availability, in stock, 68. So click on in stock and it will show you just the geckos that are in stock. It won't show you geckos that are sold. So now you can scroll through all 68 geckos and every single gecko you look at will be available. So little trick that I tell people sometimes when I feel like they're having problems navigating the website or finding the gecko that they want. So a lot of great geckos on there. We also have something called Shop Pay, which is really great for like black knights and other expensive geckos, which allows you to pay the gecko off monthly to Shopify, but you get the gecko now because Shopify gives me the money up front, so I can send you the gecko up front and you just pay the gecko off monthly. That's a great tool that Shopify offers, which you can use to buy anything, by the way. TVs, anything that has Shop Pay. And it just so happens that we have Shop Pay available for these guys at checkout. So any gecko can be paid off through Shop Pay. You can get interest-free plans on there, or you could extend the life of your plan and pay like 5% interest across 12 months. That's what I did for one of my giant black sailfin dragons. So a couple years back, I bought a $2,500 sailfin dragon, and I didn't want to pay it all up front, so I chose to pay 5% interest across 12 months, and it was only $150 interest on $2,500 payment across 12 months, so that was worth it to me. So 1190. Do I have an 1190? Yes, I do. Oh, 1190 is really nice. 1190 has been on the website for a little while now, and she's getting to that point where, let me see. No, I'll probably still keep her on the website. I'm starting to hold back more geckos that have the white lips. So if you've noticed me start to sell and mention white lip geckos, you can see these geckos that have extremely high amounts of white on their lips, and I want to create a whole genetic project and bloodline around the white lips. Now, she does have some spotting in her lips, but overall she's actually pretty white-lipped. So if somebody doesn't buy her soon, I might just wind up at this point holding her back and putting her into the white lip project. But she's a very nice gecko. And I think she's very reasonably priced. I think she's at like $150 or something like that. Very, very good price for the pristine white coloration on her, mixed with the orange coloration, the green coloration, and even a little bit of what I call white spot coloration right there in the middle of her back. Just kind of breaking up that pattern, making her look real nice. So I might get $14.89. Do you ship to California? Yes. So let me tell you how our shipping works. We ship nationwide, even to Alaska, with live arrival guarantee, a health guarantee of the animal, and a customer service guarantee for life. So I go through a very detailed process every time someone purchases an animal. I make sure to answer any questions they have and to let them know that I'm always here to review their setup, help them with the acclimation of the gecko. If the gecko's not eating within the first, 1 to 2 weeks, I have tips that I send to the person to try different food, make sure their care is on point. I try to stay on top of things as much as possible because I want every single one of these guys to thrive. But I can guarantee you that when they leave this operation, they are 100% in great health and care and all of that kind of stuff. And I would like to just see that continue after they leave here. So I always make sure to let people know that I am here for life, whatever their needs are. And actually, I prefer that because I would much rather somebody ask me questions up front, even if you're asking me questions across multiple days, I would rather you ask me the questions up front and I answer those questions for you, then 2 to 3 months goes by and then you contact me and you're like, hey, my gecko, there's something wrong with it. It's not eating, it's not thriving. And 3 months has gone by and the gecko hasn't eaten because it doesn't have a hot spot, or because it doesn't have calcium, or because you're offering it like the wrong food, or whatever the case is, right? So 100% do not feel bad about calling me, texting me, emailing me. I'm super happy to help with questions, and I would much rather the questions come ahead of time or as soon as you think that something is off with the animal rather than you waiting. So yeah, I just try to be as friendly as possible with people and let you know that I'm truly here to help. And I don't just care about making a sale. I actually care about that sale going well, you being happy, you feeling comfortable to come back and shop with me in the future, and for that leopard gecko to thrive and be happy and healthy and well taken care of in its next home. All of those things super important to me. So yes, that was an extremely long-winded way to answer your question. That we ship to California. It's only $45, overnight shipping, live arrival guarantee, health guarantee, customer service guarantee for life. So let's see what questions you got here. Yeah, and $14.89, definitely a steal of a deal. Definitely a steal of a deal. I took a look at Morph Market and was looking at some other pitch black ones, S tier, to see what they're going for nowadays, and most of them were $700-800 plus. So I think 600's really fair for her. And like I said, I take those photos right up close so you can see what they look like. You do have to be careful about photos of black knights that are taken from far away because they can appear darker in that case than when you take them up close. Every little bit of pattern of that gecko shows. So you can see, like, from far away, you can't see too much pattern. From up close, you start to see a little bit more of what little bits of pattern might be revealed there, so. Black soldier fly larva, I've never used. I heard it is a good feeder. I don't know if it's a good staple feeder. So I would do a Google search for, is black soldier fly larva a good staple feeder? I don't have any experience with it. I don't want any experience with it because we have 1,000 plus geckos, and if I was to use black soldier fly larva and just put them in a bowl and then walk away, we would have millions of flies in our operation. And so I definitely don't want black soldier fly larva. But I heard they're very good, high in protein. I heard they're very healthy. I just personally don't have any more experience than third-party reference of what I've heard. They should call the Poker Dot Gecko Dalmatian morph. Polka dot. You mean the super snow? Like this gecko right here? That yeah, we really should have a Dalmatian morph. What kind of eyes does 1610 have? Let me see. 1610 is 1610 is nice. 1610 is another one where I was like, man, if nobody buys this, I'm just gonna keep her. She's nice. She's just got that like white pattern. Again, she's gonna be more colorful, more orange than what she's showing right now. But as far as her eyes go, let's see if we can. She just has she's a Tremper albino, so she has silver eyes. Uh, she has. Let me see. She actually has. Yeah, her eyes are kind of like silver-ish. And the interesting thing about her is that most Tremper albinos will have like you'll be able to see red blood vessels. Her blood vessels are like black. So I don't know what's going on with her. I honestly I don't know. Maybe she's a new morph. Who knows? I should really keep her and breed her back. But anyway, I think it just might be an oddity, or it might be sometimes just weird stuff happens, and some geckos have darker genetics than others, even if they are albino. So you can see her eyes right there. They kind of look like a non-albino's eyes. They're like dark silver with like black veins. And usually a Tremper albino will be light silver with red veins. But I honestly don't know what's going on with her. See, that's what happens sometimes when the worms get wet and then they all die in the bowl. So I'm going to change out her bowl for her actually real quick. And now we're using giant mealworms, which I actually think giant mealworms will not die as easy or get as humid. When water spills in there or something, they won't die as easy and get black and clumped together and all that kind of stuff. So I am excited to see how the giant mealworms winds up doing in our operation, because every once in a while, like I showed you a second ago, you will get the smaller mealworms will die, and then they'll clump together, and then they'll be like smelly and stuff like that. So, and one of the reasons I wanted to keep this girl, you might not be able to see it too well, but one of the reasons I did want to keep her is her orange is kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just different. It's like kind of a little darker, tangier orange than your usual Tremper albino Mandarin Inferno. So anyway, I never noticed that about her eyes specifically until you asked. But yeah, I just showed you her eyes. She's definitely unique. If she doesn't sell, I will probably just put her into a breeding project to see if her eyes or some kind of other genetic trait is going on there to cause for that darkness. Now, sometimes, like the Cinnamon Bandit line of Tremper albino, sometimes you just get albinos that have darker levels of expression or melanin. In the boa world, they call that T positive and T negative. Same with like water monitors. Have you heard of T positive albino water monitors and T negative? Basically, T negatives are going to be lighter and brighter, and T positives are going to be darker, but they're both albinos. So it's very possible actually, that girl is like a T positive line of Tremper albino, and nobody in the leopard gecko hobby has ever discovered that there actually is a T positive and a T negative line, because you never I've never heard of any albinism, whether it's Bell, Tremper, or Rainwater, I've never heard of anybody talk about whether they are T positive or T negative. They're just all assumed to be T negative. But in reality, maybe some of those albinos have like T positive capabilities, or there's an offshoot off of that albino or a completely different albino that tends to express more in a T positive way, showing higher levels of darkness than your average albino. Who knows, guys? This is the world of genetics and mutations, and there's always new things popping up. Always. Always, always. I mean, look at the crested gecko world right now is still on fire because they've had like 20 new genes pop up in the last like 10 years or something like that. It's crazy. So I expect the same thing to happen for Let's continue to see new mutations popping up. And all you need to do is, just like we went through right now, you look at a gecko that's just expressing a little bit differently, and you try to breed that out and play that out and see if there's something going on there. Okay, I think I have stayed past the time that I said I was going to stay, so let's look at the last questions we have here. We feed 100% mealworms. Black soldier fly larva is high in fat, not a good staple. Getting $14.79 this Thursday. Yeah, if you do want to buy a gecko, you don't have to wait to purchase it. If you buy it, I can ship whenever you want. And usually when people are telling me that they're thinking of getting a gecko, I just let them know, hey, if you really, really want this gecko, I would buy it now or put a down payment on it now with me if that's the gecko you really want, just to make sure that it doesn't sell by the time that you go to buy it. But of course, if you're open to purchasing other geckos and you're not like 100% that you need that gecko, then feel free just to like check back in the future, and if the gecko didn't sell, then you can buy it then. But I would hate to have your heart set on it and then you come back 2 days later and it was already sold to somebody else. So I can certainly hold on to gecko. We could also do down payments if you don't have all the money currently right now, and if it's a gecko that you really, really want. So she's really pretty. I like the pattern she has throughout her body. Thank you. That's awesome. We will let her know that. What reptile show do you go to? Sometimes Tucson, sometimes Phoenix Reptile Expo. Sometimes there's actually a few new expos now in Arizona, and I think that's pretty cool. It's nice to see Arizona kind of beefing up their show circuit. But the main show out here in Arizona is something called the Phoenix Reptile Expo. They are an excellent show, and 10 out of 10 stars. I can recommend that show. We've also gone to California Reptile Super Show. That's also a really nice one if you are in California. And yes, we do have a lot of albinos. So you could go to our website and you could go to the scroll. You could scroll on the menu and look for. So you could either scroll through the geckos or go to the menu, go to for sale, go to leopard gecko, Tremper albino, Bell albino. So you could go to Tremper albino and you could start scrolling through het Trempers, raptors, visual Trempers, or you could click on this little search bar right here and type in the albino and then hit search, and it will show you all the Bell albinos, the Tremper albinos, Rainwater albinos, whatever albinos we have in the title. See, Tremper albino, 100% het Tremper albino. It will show you all of that. So I hope that helped. Let me see what other questions I got here. Live chat. Hope you're doing amazing for your geckos. Breeding season is about October to November. There you go. And I have a tangerine. What should I breed her to? I would breed her to another tangerine, because that way you get more orange geckos? How do I get my new babies to eat? I actually have videos on how to set up babies and how to get them acclimated the quickest. Because they're a little smaller, because they're a little more fragile, because they're brand new to life and they're little screaming nut jobs entering the world, there are some tips and tricks to getting them growing and thriving quickly. So send me a text message, 480-299-7657, and I'll send you my baby video, how to set up babies. Or you could look on YouTube, just search on the YouTube search bar, Geeky Gecko Creations, baby leopard gecko setup, and I have a few videos showing you tips and tricks of how to set up baby geckos. Amy, good to see you again, Amy. You missed, I think, most of the live, but we will be doing more lives soon, and maybe even as time allows, Danielle, who is our new worker around here, she'll start doing some lives on her own, possibly too, in the middle of the day and whatnot, in place of some of her shift hours. So right now, we're just really focused on staying on top of cleaning, making sure we don't get behind, making sure we're taking care of any emergencies or anything crazy that happens, you know. So we're doing that, but we're getting pretty caught up and pretty ahead of the game right now, so that is good. Have you seen the albino melanistic crosses? Yeah, relatively so. I have. Those are nice. I'm importing Black Knight Tremper. Those are nice, for sure. Yeah, I'm bummed I missed most of this. Thought it had just started. Next time, Amy, next time. Do you have any videos on advice for people trying to get viable eggs but are not able to purchase an incubator? You don't need an incubator. All you need is a room that is 79 degrees to 89 degrees. If you have a room in your house that's 79 to 80 degrees, you could do that. Or you could buy a hovabator or a Reptile, very relatively cheap. Or you can make your own incubators by, like, I don't know, putting a small room heater inside of a closet or something like that, and then incubating your eggs in the closet. Leopard gecko eggs are very hardy eggs. You could honestly probably incubate them anywhere from like 76 to 79 degrees, and you'll be fine. I've never incubated lower than 78. 78 is the lowest I've tested. However, I'm almost positive they would still hatch even if you were slightly below 78. But I would recommend trying to find a box, a room, look on Craigslist or offer up for like old hovabators or reptibators, or get one off Amazon, hovabator, reptibator, incubator, anything like that off Amazon, and try to incubate the eggs 79 to 81 for females, 85 to 86 for mixed genders or sexes, and then 87 to 89 for majority males. So I think that's it, guys. Let me shut off my I would show okay, I have a confession, guys. I have a confession. I would show my face right now because I like ending the stream by talking to you guys face to face. However, here is my confession. Are you guys ready? I did this whole live stream with no shirt on. So to spare your guys' sanity, I will not show my face because then it would show my shirtless body, and we don't want to do that. But I thank you guys for being here. Please feel free to take a look at our website, geekygeckocreations.com. We just added a ton of really nice geckos, which include these three right here. I will be back on another live stream soon, guys, soon. And I also have other videos in the making right now, how to set up bioactive caging, naturalistic caging, more of our holdback videos, all kinds of cool stuff coming. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you being here. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, have yourself a geeky gecko. Great day, guys. Have a good day tomorrow. Peace.